Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I thought it'd be really fun to go through some of my old sketchbooks from school that I did when I was about 14 and 15. So here in the UK we take our GCSEs when we're in year 10 and 11, so when we're 14 through until we're 16. So I got these sketchbooks back and I thought it'd be really fun to go through them with you guys, as I get so many questions asking how much has my art improved over the years and that you want to see some of my old artwork. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm really excited about it and it's just going to be really fun. But anyway, let's get into it. So like I said, it started when I was in year 10. So at the start of this sketchbook, I am 14. And so the first thing I remember having to do is just some like text-based stuff. So researching some artists, writing about what you like in art and what art means to you and all of the boring side of it. And so I think I had to do quite a bit of that at the start, especially in year 11 when I was doing the exam prep. We had to do so many different artists researching. But I remember that my art teacher, she was quite old and she just really liked still life. So when we're looking through this, most of what you're going to see is still life, unfortunately. I don't think my school had a particularly large budget for art. They didn't really focus on the art that much. It was kind of one of the lesser things that they put their budget into. They didn't really spend much money on it. So we just had to draw a lot of through or around the house sort of objects. So we just draw them in class, and that's what she tended to set us as homework. So you're just going to see a lot of still life based stuff. So the first thing that I had to do was some pepper studies. So we were given like sections of a pepper and we had to draw it in lots of different types of mediums. So the first thing here was a line study, and I remember I was actually really proud of this, and I still think this is actually really good compared to some of the other stuff in this sketchbook. I like the detail that I've got, and considering it as a line study, I think there's a decent amount of detail in there, so I'm actually really happy with that one, especially because I was 14. So then on this side, we've just got some images of peppers, which I'm pretty sure were just from Google Images, and so were probably copyrighted. And here again, we've got some more studies of peppers. This one was a tonal study, so you can see that there's a bit more shading in it now. There's still quite a lot of outlines and really harsh outlines, but we're getting a bit more shading and detail. Here is a colour pencil study of a pepper, and you can see how much of a difference this is compared to my colour pencil work now. So you can see I've just used black for the shading. You can even see the pencil lines through there, and I can see a lot of don'ts that are in this piece and stuff that I would tell you to avoid. So it's actually really nice to see how much I've improved now compared to when I was 14, which is 6 years ago now because I'm 20 now. So yeah, I still don't think it's too bad actually, but there's just not a lot of different colours and a lot of it is just really outlined with black, or that might be pencil, I'm not sure. And then we've got a pen study of a pepper, which is actually quite impressive considering I don't really use ballpoint pen. I quite like this. I like the fact that I would have had to just do it all without erasing. I couldn't make any mistakes. So overall, I don't think that's too bad. Quite happy with that one. Again, on this side, more research of an artist. And here we have a leaf study. And like I said, we just had to draw lots of like basic type objects. So I remember this one took me quite a while to do. I was always quite a slow drawer, and I still am. I would always get moaned at for the fact that I'd spend the whole lesson doing like one leaf when we're meant to like get the whole thing done. So I always had to take it back for homework to finish it. So I always took my time, and as you'll see throughout the sketchbook, I think I always had a problem of outlining everything and then adding shading. So as you'll see from my like do's and don'ts video, outlining is always something that I don't recommend, and it's just really funny to see that all of the don'ts that I talk about are things that I actually used to do. But again, I don't think that this is that bad. I've managed to get the darks in and highlights, so yeah, we always had to write as well what we were drawing. Okay, so on this side we've got a bunch of tomatoes. Again, I don't think this is that bad. I really like this actually. We've got a lot of the different stems, which I can imagine was probably quite challenging for me when I was young. So again, tonal study of a bunch of tomatoes. Not much really to say about this, considering that I didn't really use too many different pencils. I remember that I didn't like know about 2H pencils, 4B pencils and all that sort of stuff. So I think most of this was just done with like HB pencils and maybe one other darker pencil. But I think mainly I just pressed the pencil really hard to get these darker shadows. So considering that this paper is quite cheap and the pencils is just, well, I just used one pencil, I think it's actually really decent. What I love about this one is the fact that you've got 2 apples and a knife, but there's no one holding the knife. Like, how is this possible? How is this knife staying up? It's not even like on a table surface. But again, I quite like that one. So one thing you'll notice is that my watercolor work is absolutely appalling when I was younger. So I always found watercolors the most trickiest to do. I couldn't control them, and I still do find it quite difficult to control the watercolors and to get it to do what I want. But when I was young, it's something that I really hated to use because of the fact that I felt like I couldn't get that realistic look and I couldn't get any control over it. But yeah, again, we've just got a bunch of sliced peppers, and over here we've got another study of chili peppers this time. And I remember doing this, and this is something that I actually really enjoyed doing. I was a bit sick of just drawing and painting peppers by this point. It was ridiculous that like the first 10 pages and the first like 5 lessons, maybe 6 lessons in art class was just drawing different types of peppers. So it did get a bit tedious, and it was actually quite nice to do something different and actually make a pepper out of tissue paper. Even though I actually wasn't a massive fan of doing like sculpture work or making stuff, I always just like to draw and paint. But this was actually really fun to make, and it did take me quite a long time, I remember. And I think I went over and painted that as well to make it look a little bit more realistic. Oh my god, more peppers. So here we've got an oil pastel pepper, here we've got a watercolor pepper, and actually this one's quite nice actually. A lot better than I imagined my watercolor work came out like. So the oil pastels and pastels was never really my thing. I always found it quite messy, and I know a lot of you guys ask whether I can do like pan pastel work, and it's something that I do want to try again. I didn't like the oil pastels, but I think maybe the dry pan pastels will be really nice to use and create a really nice base to colour pencil. So it's definitely something that I want to try out soon. But yeah, we're still doing the peppers. So what's this one? So this was a painting with watercolours on this side and oil pastel. I don't know why I've got a painting with 2 different mediums, half and half, but it was probably something we were told to do. But yeah, just another pepper. And I think this is the very last pepper that I did, and this was out of felt. So now I remember we were doing pointillism and we had to write about it. And I don't know what a walnut has got to do with the pointillism, but got a walnut there. And we had to try and do these little pointillism things. And I don't know why I stuck these in, because that is not pointillism. That is just colours merging into each other to create some sort of mess. Like, that is just really bad. That's so funny. I remember doing that and just thinking, this isn't pointillism. So I think this was from a school trip. We went to a sculpture park and we had to do some like sketching when we were there of like the sculptures and write some stuff and more research. And I think now we're getting into a whole sort of cake series, which is something I really quite enjoyed doing. I liked drawing the cakes a lot more than like the peppers and stuff. So it always has a sort of rhythm to it. We always do like line studies first, then tonal studies. And I don't know whether that's how everyone did it, but that's the way our teacher sort of led us into doing it. She was quite, set in her ways and repetitive about how she wanted to do it, and whenever I really asked to do something different, she wouldn't really be that supportive of it. And so that's why the sketchbook is a lot more boring than I would have made it if I was to choose what to do. So yeah, line study here, another line study, and one more line study over here. I think it's all the same cakes as well, nothing different there, just different angles. Okay, and now we had to do some watercolour work. Quite basic colours, not much realism to that at all. I think I just used one colour for each area, and I have no idea what this is. What's that meant to be? Felt from scratch at a felt workshop. Okay, this is meant to... I added colour and texture to resemble the icing of cupcakes. Okay, Kirsty, if you say so. Now, so this is more of a detailed drawing of a chocolate croissant, a piece of cake and a donut. And I really like this. I think this looks quite nice. I don't know if I was 14 or 15 when I drew this, but I still think this one was one that I was actually pretty happy with, and I did spend a bit of time on this. Again, I think we were making felt. More pictures of ceramic and knitted cakes. What's this? Okay, this is a peacock feather. I remember doing this because our teacher wasn't actually in, so we had like a cover teacher, and most people were just messing about, but I was just there drawing away. And more research, and then we've got a colour pencil drawing of a pomegranate fruit and a kiwi. This is much better than that pepper that we did. I'm still using all the black lines for the shadows, but this is much better. And I definitely remember that the colour pencils were the really cheap ones. They weren't anything like what I'd use now, so I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now we are drawing plants. So this is a line study and a tonal study of like a flower bud or something like that. Ballpoint pen study of some garlic. I actually really like that. And pine cone. I think that would have taken me a really long time to do because of the fact that it has all of these sections. But it was definitely a fun challenge. Ooh, okay, this was one of my favourite things that I did throughout the whole 2 years, I think. I found this so much fun. So we were doing screen printing, I think it was called, where you had like this green, I don't know, it's like rubbery. It's like a cutting mat, and you would like chisel out your design and then roll paint on it and press it onto the paper, and it'd create like these wallpaper looking things, and you did different colours. And I remember I also did a really big piece of this as well, but that's not in the sketchbook. I just love the feel of the texture and that I've got all of the different patterns. I absolutely love doing this. It was so fun, and it was definitely a nice break from doing like line studies, tonal studies and all that sort of stuff. I think this is the like most creative thing we did throughout the 2 years, and I actually surprisingly really enjoyed doing this sort of stuff. Okay, so again, these were drawings that I was so proud of. I really liked these, and I thought they looked really realistic. So I've got an ice cream cone with a nice flake and the wafer, and then 2 cupcakes. I still think that these are actually really nice. And again, on the other side, even more cakes, and what are they? French fancies. We've got some Viennese whirls and also just a chocolate gâteau. And then pictures on this side. Okay, so towards the end of year 10, I think, we had to create one of our first final pieces. And I decided to do like this decaying cake where it was a sculpture. So I just decided to create like 3 tiers. And on the top tier, there'll be like blood dripping down. And I was going to do like a hand coming up like it was candles, and then put like mold around it. I don't know why. I was quite dark back then. I don't know. I wanted to do something different. Everyone was making really pretty cakes, and I was like, nah, let's do something a bit more interesting. So I decided to do that. And what's that? Okay, more written research, more planning. Okay, then this is what it came out like. It's actually really fun to do, and I actually was really proud of this. So what I did was I basically had the top 3 tiers, which I made out of cardboard. I had the dripping blood coming down with like hot glue, and then I painted it. I also used the hot glue gun to create like little cobwebs, so it looked like little spiders' webs. and I created two hands, one coming out of the top like I'd planned, and then another one holding a knife like it's cutting the cake, and again it's all bloody. I think I made the fingers just out of masking tape and I like rolled it up and shaped it, and yeah, I was really proud of this one actually. So if you guys that are interested, the grade I got overall for art was a B. It was actually my lowest grade out of all of my GCSEs. And I think just because I didn't have the creative, like I wasn't given any creative direction, I just had to do what I was kind of told and draw each thing. I wasn't particularly inspired or motivated to do it really well. So I wasn't that interested in art. I actually really disliked it, and I think it kind of took away my passion for wanting to do art as a career. More research. Okay, surrealism. Got a nice school drawing. I think I'm starting to get away from doing those outlines so much as I'm getting older. That one, I think that's really good actually. Some more like research. What's this? A pen study of a section of lace, and then we had to do another project, another like sculpture, and I was doing a rib cage, and we had to get some plaster and create like this drape sort of curtain. I'm not sure who it was inspired by, whether it was inspired by another artist, but yeah, turned out pretty basic. Wasn't that impressive with that one, but I think that was it for year 10 and partway through year 11. And then the second one is from year 11 where we were doing our exam prep. So this is all for exam prep. So our theme was force, and we could do anything related to force for our theme, and we had to kind of pick a topic revolving around force. So we had to start by mind mapping all of the different options that could be related to this word, and I think I went through like the force of emotions, that sort of theme. So this one we had to do 10 different artists and research them, do so much writing about them, lots of different artists. Okay, I remember really enjoying doing this. So we had to try and like experiment with different techniques and effects, and I remember doing this peeling paint effect, and I think I just got some black paper, or I painted piece of paper black, and then I added some PVA glue and to like the white paint, and then I painted it on, and as it dried it like created this peeling paint effect. I think that's how I did it. That was really fun, and then I tried to apply that technique to like what is it, a gate that's like peeling the paint away, so it's like flaking off. And this was a piece that I did where it's meant to look like it was glass shattering and breaking, so like force, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I think I just painted that black, and then I went in with some white paint and just did that. These didn't take me very long. They were just like little studies to do. Okay, so now here's some hand studies. You'll notice that on my channel I don't have hardly any tutorials. Well, I don't think I have any tutorials where I'm drawing hands, and that is because I simply have so much trouble drawing hands, and I think these two hands are probably the best hands that I've ever drew. I think my hand drawings have actually got worse over the years, so I definitely want to start practicing them more and getting better at them. I think I'm scared now to draw hands, so like they automatically go bad. But yeah, so again, it was like the force, so we had to like really strain our hands, create the look of tension, and I'm really happy with how these turned out. Yeah, there's really defined outlines, but I think that was the point, to create the look of tension and force. But yeah, I'm really happy with the anatomy of them. This one is something that I think I did in year 9 or 8 actually, and I was just told to stick it in here. Okay, and now we've got tin opener, a bit of barbed wire, and this looks like it's been done in some sort of ink wash as well. I might have just done it with inks and went over with water and just bled them out a bit. And then I remember spending so long doing this piece of rope because there's so many intricate bits. It did my head in when I was doing this, but I'm really happy with the result of this. Got all the nice outlines going on, but yeah, this doesn't look that bad. Some more pictures. What's this of cans? Some artist. I think that's meant to be like that. I don't know why this cuts out of the page. I'm not sure why. Photos of bottles. Ah, yeah. So then we had to draw like the cans in different mediums. So I've got the tonal study, coloured pencil study, and the paint study. I think the paint one is actually the best out of all of them. I like the way you've got the shadows and it looks like it's crunched up together. So I think that was one of my best painting studies that I did. I never really did much painting when I was young, so it was always my weak spot, but I was really happy with how this one turned out. Okay, so I think this is another piece that I did when I was in the younger years, like year 8 or 9, so I'd have been like 12 or 13 when I did these. Again, in watercolour. I think I added a bit more variety of colours in this one than my other pieces. Okay, so these were 2 drawings that I did of my boyfriend. We had to do like portrait studies, and so I decided to make him to just sit and so I could draw him for a bit. And you can definitely see how much better I've got from this drawing. By the way, these look absolutely nothing like him, and I'm gonna have to show him these because he'll find these absolutely hilarious. As you can see, my hair, I've just tried to draw every single strand of hair. The anatomy is really, really off. It looks a bit like an alien. But I think this one's actually a lot more accurate in terms of proportions, the side angle, which is quite surprising because side angles are normally quite tricky. But apart from the hair, I think this is actually pretty decent. I'm definitely going to have to do like an updated drawing of him because obviously we look a lot different, and I haven't actually done a drawing for ages of like the 2 of us, so I think that'll be really cute. Maybe I'll do it for like Christmas or something. Oh wow. So this one, another like drawing with force and motions, and I remember she was telling me off a lot for just spending a lot of time on each one, so I got a bit frustrated, and so I decided just to quickly do something really fast that I didn't actually care about that much. And so this took me a few minutes at the most, and I was kind of taking the mick a bit when I was doing this, but surprisingly this was something that she thought was actually really good, and it was like the best one that I've done because it conveyed all the emotion, and I just didn't really spend much time on it. But yeah, you can see just done lines for all of the hair, but I can see why she might have liked it, but I just thought it looked quite messy. I think that was meant to be me as well. Expressionism. Okay, so now we're getting on to my final like exam piece, and so I wanted to do a painting, and I wanted to do like different emotions with like different colors and do this sort of style, and I really like all these. I was really happy when I was doing these. I thought they looked quite nice. I like this one, and they were like of my face, but they don't really look like my face, but they were based on my face, and I think these turned out quite nicely. And I also did some more. So this one, what was the others? So this one was like shock and fear. This one was like anger. And what was this one? I think this was more like pain, or like, yeah, pain. And then we've got disgust. I tried to like relate the emotion to the actual colors that I was using. So for disgust I used green, and I tried to use like its complementary color as well somewhere in there, so I got a bit yellow and purple. And then you can see that I've done a sad face. I'm not sure, I think that was my face. I think the hand's a bit big, but I think that was meant to be sad emotion. I really like the blue one that I did. Again, that was sadness, and so I used blue because like you're feeling blue, you're feeling sad. And then these are meant to be a nice pair of sad eyes. And then we got some photos of the actual exam piece and how it turned out. We only had 10 hours to do this, which is something that I was like really worrying about because I have never done something in 10 hours in my life. It's always taken so much longer when I was to do something like this. So I was really worried that it was going to take me a lot longer and that I was going to run over a bit. And I think I might have run over like a little bit, and she had to like tell me I needed to stop, but I just for some reason take my time. Everyone else had like finished halfway through and I was just still going. But yeah, this is how it turned out. I decided to do like the 4 emotions and then do like this kind of wheel of colours going in between them, and like contrasted the colour of the main emotion. Like the main emotion was like orange, so I did like blue as the background. This was blue, that was orange, and so on. But yeah, I was quite pleased with that one. But I think that's the final thing. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video and enjoyed looking back at some of my older artwork. It's really fun to look back and see just how much I have improved and grown, and you can see that I wasn't always at the standard that I am today, and it can definitely happen if you just put in lots of hard work and dedication. So thank you guys for watching. If you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this content and want to see more drawing tutorials, art advice videos and fun art videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and tick that bell icon to be notified on my future videos. I'd really appreciate any likes and shares on this video, and if you want to follow along on all of my social media sites, they are linked in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone!